Hello everyone. Welcome to this third session of the Eviews. In this session, we will be talking about the regression analysis, how we are going to do that in this Eviews software. So before understanding or before doing this in the Eviews software, let us understand what this regression analysis is basically. So, regression analysis is mainly done to find the relationship between independent variables and a dependent variable. It also helps in the time series modeling, forecasting, and finding causal relationship between the variables. Some of the basic examples for regression can be said like prediction of rain using temperature and other factors, determining market trends, or predicting of road accidents due to rash driving. Now, let us understand how regression can be applied in e-views. So, first of all, we need to develop a model to estimate the same. So, here I'm going to take the variables like GDP. So, I'm going to take GDP as my dependent variable, and then I'm going to take different independent variables like agriculture annual growth rate and agriculture trade, and along with that, employment in the agriculture sector. So, for a general regression equation, my equation will have a dependent variable in the form of GDP, and independent variables will be agriculture trade, agriculture annual growth rate, and employment in agriculture. So here I just want to predict that agriculture trade, employment in agriculture, and agricultural annual growth has an impact or on the GDP level or not. Now, I have shown you the data here on this particular work file, and in this particular work file, to go for the regression analysis, there are basically two methods which are available in case of e-views. So the first one is just by directly selecting the folders or selecting the objects, and the second is by writing the equation. So, first of all, I'm going to show you both the ways through which we can do regression analysis here in the eView software. So, now here, first of all, I'm going to go by just directly selecting the folders. Okay, so here, just see that the GDP I'm going to take as my dependent variable. So, I'm clicking that first of all. So, you have to click basically in the form in which you write a regression equation. So here I'm going to click GDP first of all, and that after that I'm going to click the agriculture and growth rate, agriculture trade, and employment in agriculture as my independent variables. Now go to open, just right click and then go to open and then click on as equation. So when you click on equation, you will see that it is now written in the form of a regression equation. So firstly, you will see that the dependent variable is there, and after that, you will see that agriculture annual growth, agriculture trade, and employment in agriculture is written, and C is the constant here. So now coming to the next aspect, that is the method, because we are using the regression analysis through the least square method. So I'm going to choose this. When you click on this particular option, you will find that there are various methods like two-stage least square, generalized method of movements, limited information maximum likelihood, NK class, integration regression, autoregressive, conditional, heteroscedasticity, binary choice, ordered choice, and so on. But for our purpose, we are going to use the least square. And the next aspect shows us the sample. So sample which I have taken with respect to this particular data is from 1991 to 2020. So now we are done with our options, and now let's click on OK. Okay, so when you click on OK, you will see this equation window which will pop up, and you will see that the dependent variable has been shown here. The method which you have applied, that is least square, is shown here. The date and time, everything is visible on this particular window. The sample which you are using is also shown from 1991 to 2020. Along with that, you will also see that the included observation, that the total number of observation which has been applied in this particular analysis is also mentioned like 30 here. So now coming to the results aspect, you will see that in the first column variables are shown. After that, the coefficient, which is basically the slope parameter in terms of the different independent variables, have been shown here. Then you will see the standard error, t statistics, and probability value. So probability value, or the p values, basically shows the significance of the relationship. So if the value is, the rule here is basically that if the value is more than 5%, the relationship is said to be insignificant, and if it is lesser than 5%, then it is significant. And coming to the coefficient aspect, it simply shows that, and shows the relationship in terms of the sign which it contains. So suppose, like, if there is this negative sign, then it simply signifies that it has a negative impact on the dependent variable. And if it is showing a positive sign, then it simply shows that it is having a positive impact. Okay, so in this particular result, we will see that with respect to our dependent variable GDP, the annual agriculture annual growth rate is having a negative sign in terms of coefficient, and also the probability value is 0.23, which is more than 5%. So it is clearly signified here that agriculture annual growth rate is having a negative and insignificant impact on the GDP aspect. Now, coming to our second independent variable, that is agriculture trade. Here you can see that it is having a positive sign, and also the probability value is less than 5%. Therefore, it clearly signifies that it is having a positive and significant impact on our dependent variable, that is GDP. Now coming to the next aspect, that is employment in the agriculture sector. So you will see here that you can see here that it is showing a negative sign, and the probability value is less than 5%. So in this scenario, or with respect to this particular variable, we can say that it is having a negative and insignificant impact on the dependent variable, that is GDP. Now coming to the second portion of this particular window, so you can see that there you can see the values in terms of r square, adjusted r square, then mean dependent variable, standard deviation dependent variable, and these are the different scenarios. So here you can see the results of Darwin-Watson stat, which is basically associated with the autocorrelation. And you will see the R square value, which basically shows us how much independent and adjusted variables are predicting dependent variables. Okay, so R square and adjusted R square are kind of similar in terms of what they want to define in a particular regression equation. Now, coming to the F statistics, it basically tells the overall fitness of the model. So, for that, we need to see the probability value with respect to F statistics. So, here, if the probability, the rule simply says that if the probability value is less than 5%, then the model is fit, and if it is more than 5%, then the model is not fit. So, with respect to our own equation, you can see that the value is 0.00, so which is less than 5%. So we can say that the this particular model is fit. And coming to the r square value, you can see that the value is 0.95. So it simply signifies that the variables which we have used are kind of able to predict around 95%, okay, in terms of their impact on the dependent variable. So this is the main situation in terms of the method which we have used by just directly selecting the folders or the objects. So now let's move to the other way through which we can analyze the regression. So first of all, let's close this, delete this untitled equation, and for the second one, what you can do, you can just go to this option of quick, click on this, and go to the next option. So you will see that whenever you are going to click on this option of quick, the other options are like sample, generate series, show graph, empty group, series statistics, then group statistics, then estimate equation, and estimate var. So here we, because we want to run the regression, so we are just going to click on estimate equation, and you can see that this window will pop up, this box will pop up actually. And what you can do, you can just write your regression equation like this, because your dependent variable is gdp. So just write down gdp, then constant c, then after that your independent variables like agriculture, annual growth rate. So then the second one is your agriculture trade, and the third one is employment in the agriculture. So this is the equation we have written here. And after this, we already know that we are going to refer to the least square method. So it's already mentioned in this method, and then the sample is clearly defined. Now just go and click on OK. And sorry, I have just made some mistake, I think. Okay, so I have written agriculture two times, so just going to delete that. Mhm. Then after that, you can just go and click OK. So this is how your window will again pop up, and you can see that in this the results are absolutely similar what we have found in through the previous way which we have done. Okay, so here you can see the results are pretty much similar. Our model is very much fit. Darwin Watson value is between your is more than one here, and your R square is around 95%. And you can easily see that significance in terms of agriculture trade and employment in agriculture values on with your GDP or the dependent variable here which we have applied. So this is how you can go for regression analysis in Eviews. I hope you have enjoyed this session, and thank you so much.